Hello, I'm Yoko, and welcome to Okimi Otaki's OC Spotlight video. If you haven't seen the previous ones in the series or read Despair Emporium, I recommend checking out the playlist that's linked below or in a card above. Or at least see Yoshio's video, which is the first in the playlist, as it is the first one where I explain some stuff that will be helpful. But if you don't, then this is about my Despair Emporium comic, which is based on the Danganronpa series. So fair warning, the Danganronpa series is meant for a typically older audience, and it contains adult themes not limited to murder. But with that said, let's hop into the video. Okimi Otaki is the ultimate choreographer, and her birthday was October 3rd, which makes her a Libra for anyone into that. She's a bit of a punk who flips from carefree to a bit more aggressive at times. Most of the time, she's chill and goes with the flow. She's pretty friendly, but she does like to push some buttons sometimes, but it's usually in a playful way, bit of a teasing way. But if something makes her mad, you're going to know about it. She's quick to defend others, but will often lash out in anger when upset. Now onto a quick explanation of her character inspirations. I dressed her based on some looks that I saw when I was going through videos of dancing and stuff. So I kept her top really loose and flowy, but I wanted to keep her punk look, so I kept her spiky belt and her skirt, though she's practical, so she has shorts underneath. Specific design inspirations for her include Misty from Pokemon and Sam from Danny Phantom for her half ponytail she has, as well as Ember from Danny Phantom for the one glove that she has on only one of her arms, though in this case it's a pink one instead of like a black one. Looking up her first name, Google says that Okimi means stuff like offshore/open sea, and Otaki means big waterfall in some searches. She doesn't really have anything to do with water, but when I picked these names a long time ago, I'm pretty sure my only inspiration for what I was picking was specifically just that they had alliteration because I thought it sounded cool, and that's the only thing I can remember. Again, some of these characters, I remember exactly why they're named this way, and some of these characters are a bit just like, it sounded cool. Okimi Otaki is just fun to say. But yeah, onto more Okimi details throughout the comic. And I'll give a little spoiler warning when we get towards more extreme spoilers and leave it for the end of the video, but minor spoilers for throughout the comic will be now said. She's a bit rowdy, as I mentioned. At one point, she tried to throw toast at someone who was making her upset, so you know, that kind of girl. She did miss, however, and she did apologize to the person that it did hit. She's friendly with the protagonist, Yoshio, and does stuff like saying, "Yo, yo, Yoshio," as a greeting sometimes. They also bonded a bit since they both have dogs, and she loves them. Okimi's being an older Akita named Coco. In her own words, offering to watch his pupper at times or to have a doggy playdate. She kind of defaults to the cute little baby talk with the doggies. She tends to be pretty laid back around him. She's also laughing and chill during a pool party that one of the characters orchestrates, there being antics involved. From the beginning of the comic, she takes a liking to another character, Saki, who she had run into in the beginning. Someone on the Q&A section mentioned that Okimi looks like the extrovert who adopts lonely introverts, and that's very correct. She jumps to her defense when she notices her new friend is uncomfortable, saying, with a bit of a bite to her words to Hiroto, that Saki has a name and commenting on him being a little rich boy. In her own way, basically saying to watch yourself and he's the outlier here, so be nice. On another occasion, she notices Saki upset, and when finding out she's missing her sweater vest, she gets annoyed and drags her off to go find the perv she presumes took it. Okimi can be quick to jump to conclusions, and we'll get back to Okimi and Saki stuff later, but for now, let's move on to her connections with another character, Ryu, who is actually next up in the series. She teases him in the beginning, where she casually says it's funny that the two try-hard-looking tough guys have such girly talents, laughing when he gets defensive and pointing out that it's just a joke. She likes to tease him here and there in general, and he seems to look out for her. Though it's not always welcome at the time, and she can get angry and lash out at him. Again, more details later in the spoiler section. Okimi often offers help to others, but kind of finds it hard to accept help and that people aren't mocking her in a way. Okimi also pretty much has a hatred for another character, June, who pushes her buttons on purpose. He usually gets her angry only to get her to admit some answers that he's looking for that she's trying to hide, though it's usually only stuff that she's hiding because it makes her feel vulnerable and sad, and she doesn't like that. She also absolutely hates Monokuma, not that anyone actually really likes him, but basically, if it wasn't against the rules, she would be the first one throwing down and beating up the robot bear. On to the Q&A section with the questions that you left on the community post. Also, I know my main series is Galaxy Clan, but geez, there's a lot of Warrior Cats or Galaxy Clan related questions. I'm not going to be answering them all, but here's two of them. Who would be her favorite Galaxy Clan cat? Probably the Bristlethroat family in general, specifically Bristlethroat, Mothblaze, and Lightfoot. Those three girl bosses, totally her vibe. And of every clan that I've made, which one would she be a part of? Viper Clan for the aesthetics, purely. She's not evil or anything, but not everyone in Viper Clan is evil. And onto the non-cat questions. When did she first start dancing? Her entire family is very musical, so she's been dancing since she could really walk, honestly. Whether or not she was good is another story. What is her sexuality? She's bisexual, which leads to a lot of people shipping her Otaki and Ryu. Some of them also say that they should be a polycule together. And I support all ships regarding these characters with each other as long as they are respectful to their sexualities. What's her favorite music to dance to? Any specific bands or vibes only? She mostly goes off vibes, but she enjoys most music. She leans towards more pop punk, personally. She also really likes when songs go from one vibe to a completely different one throughout the song, because that way she can really play with it and see how the movements can be changed and little extra things she can add. Does she do choreo for competitions? Yes, technically she actually mostly makes her choreography for people close to her. Her little sister's the better dancer skill-wise, and Okimi makes routines for her that she wouldn't actually be able to pull off. She's also done stuff like make an entire Pride-themed celebration routine with a bunch of people when her older brother got a boyfriend and wanted to come out in a big way. What was her worst experience in the competitive dance scene? Does she have a rival? She doesn't really specifically have a rival because she herself doesn't really compete. Again, it's mostly her sister. But she has tried to fistfight an annoying parent who is being rude to her little sister for winning a competition when obviously her little angel deserved it instead. Okimi's brother had to step in and hold her back. What would she do in a zombie apocalypse? She'd be the one that immediately gets down to business, bat in hand and beating zombies while also trying to do her best to survive. She would probably need someone less hot-headed to keep her grounded, though, and not get caught by zombies, honestly. How would she react to being betrayed? She would be furious and would probably try to start a fist fight. Again, Okimi, very quick to fight. If she could only eat one food for the rest of her life, what would she choose? Not very healthy for the dancing scene, but pizza, I think, honestly. What's her favorite type of bird? Hawks are sick to her. Is her hair natural or dyed? It's natural, as you said, this is an anime universe, and there is only one character who fully dyes their hair. There's another character of highlights, but we'll get to it when we get to them. Does her ponytail mean anything significant, or is it just a hairstyle? Her little sister actually did it like that once, and it just kind of stuck. Now it's part of her branding. I say branding, but she's not like selling her look or anything. It's just what she likes to wear. What field does she specialize in? Mostly the type of dance that you see the background dancers doing in music videos or performances on stage, but she can adapt to most styles if she's motivated. She knows most types of dance and even some other stuff and can create a routine for a lot of stuff like theater, ballet, or even ice skating. With the things that she can't do herself, just making the routine on paper and having people that actually can do it move out the moves and show it off. Which, speaking of, asking if she's ever done anything for ice specifically was a question, so there's her answer. How old is she? The Despair Emporium cast is in high school, and while not given exact ages, think like 15, 16 for most of them, and use anime logic for characters that might look a little older. In short, behave. How does she feel about dance moms? I'm not touching this one with a 10-foot pole, personally, as the only thing I really know is that there's a lot of controversies with that, and there's some bad stuff. Moving on. Is she popular? Yes, Okimi was a bit of a cool girl at her old school. Waffles or pancakes? Pancakes with a lot of syrup. Early or late riser? She would be a late riser if she was allowed to, but she's forced to be an early riser and does not like it. Do not bug her in the morning. What would her D&D alignment be? I asked my boyfriend for this one, and he said chaotic good, so I'm gonna take that at face value. There is a question I'll get to later. For now, on to the major spoiler section, so if you're interested in Despair Emporium and you haven't read it already, I would stop here so you can go check it out. There's 2 chapters out, and it's linked below. It's an Instagram comic, so scroll to the bottom post first. Thank you for watching, and let's get into major plot spoilers. Okimi has been through a lot. Her friend Saki, that she got really close to, well, she was the first victim, and that hit her hard. She is very angry and sad and is trying to avoid her feelings. June also keeps harassing her. Then in chapter 2, her dog Coco died, which messed her up more. She lashed out at Ryu during that, but he appeared to be looking out for her, and he gave her a plushie to hug since her loved ones were gone, but they won't be forgotten. Not the best replacement, but it's something for the moment since they can't really do anything. She's also looking after Saki's animal, so in general, she's mostly trying to distract herself, but this place sucks and keeps hurting her. Honestly, Okimi might be the one going for the most right now. On to the spoiler question that I skipped. How does she feel about the other dead characters beyond Saki? Well, she's still kind of mad at Choco for obvious reasons. I mean, she killed Saki. She feels really bad about Hiroto, and she's very confused about Raiden. He was kind of like a little brother in vibes, and it's hard to understand this last trial in general. But yeah, that's Okimi Otaki. Hope you liked hearing about her. I hope you guys enjoyed the art in the background. Also, I do get questions about why I draw the characters in a swimsuit sometimes. She's not drawn in one because I did doodle her during the like pool party scene. But for anyone unfamiliar with Danganronpa, there's a little side game called Danganronpa S where they're on a beach and stuff and they have swimsuits. So I'm just doing that because the canon Danganronpa characters have designs and I wanted to. But yeah, Okimi is a fun character and I like punkish characters in general. Speaking of that, the next character is going to be Ryu, who was mentioned in this video, so look out for whenever that comes out. But yeah, I'd appreciate if you could like, subscribe, and check out my socials linked below. My commissions are open if you'd like to support me that way, and with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Peace!